So let's time today, so 15 minutes. I'll just talk at the go. Everyone's happy. Hand over to you all.
Andy, as you close the chapter on your career, someone calling you Britain's greatest spinner. Do you think you are?
Look, it's not for me to say. I mean, I'm proud of the achievements that I've had. I've done as, for the most part, as best as I could, and I'm really proud of that.
Where does the Olympics rank in all the World Grand Slams, the Davis Cup, World number one? You've had highs and lows here, haven't you, the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, I just know that every time I've come to the Olympics that it feels totally different, and I personally love it. And some of the tennis players feel the same as me. Some of them don't, but usually it's the ones that aren't necessarily in with the shout of winning medals potentially. But yeah, for me it's been amazing experience. I love being around all of the other athletes. I love being part of a team. I love representing my country. So yeah, for me it's obviously been right up there. Some might argue maybe I wouldn't say that if I hadn't been that as successful at the Olympics, but I have always loved the team element of tennis when we get that opportunity, whether that be in Davis Cup, and my record and results reflect that.
And is that why when you said in that tweet X or whatever that yesterday about that playing for teams GB being the most memorable moments of your career? I guess some people would have expected you to say, the weeks that you won Wimbledon or the US Open, but is it because of that team element you think that they've been the most memorable?
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, just when you're staying in the village and when you're around all the other athletes, it just feels like you're part of something bigger than just yourself or your own sport. Like the Olympics is it's really special. And I'm sure if you spoke to Leon, who's been our Davis Cup captain over the years, like how much I've loved those experiences as well. That I don't know, in some ways maybe, I don't know, when you're on your own on the tour, it is at times a little bit lonely, maybe is a little bit more stressful in some ways, but yeah, I don't know the exact reason. I just know when I'm here and when I'm around the other athletes and in the village that it feels different to me. It feels, it feels more important. So yeah.
When you zip up, and every athlete has to retire, but when you zip up that bag for the last time and put it over your shoulder and walk off the court, how do you think you're going to feel?
I feel good. I wasn't sure that that's how I would feel a few months ago, to be honest. I was unsure about it. I was, had, a lot of conversations with my, my family, with my wife about it. And yeah, I was unsure. The injury before Queen's, or during Queen's, but I had been struggling with my back through most of the clay court season after the ankle injury. That I knew that it was the right time, and I'm happy about it now. I didn't feel that way a few months ago when I thought this is when I was going to stop. I didn't really want to, whereas now I want to, and I know that it's the right time for me. So I'll feel good about it.
What are you going to do with the rest of your life, Andy? Because you don't just stop being a tennis player on a Friday night and you're a NASA astronaut or something on a Monday morning. Have you considered?
You don't know what I've been up to in my spare time.
Have you thought about what happens next?
Look, initially, I want to be at home with my family. I want to spend a lot of time with my kids and my wife. I won't be on the road much. I know that. I'll play a lot of golf I'll try and become a scratch golfer. That's something that I'll definitely try and do. I've always loved playing golf, but because of the issues with my back, I've not played much. I haven't played for like 5 or 6 years. And hardly played since I was like 18, 19. So that's something I really want to do initially. And then, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the rest of my life will look like. But I will still stay in touch with the sport. I don't see that changing. Like, my love for the sport won't go away. So definitely see myself being involved in tennis. I would love to, be part of, like the next Olympics in some capacity and things like that. But I don't have any like clear plans exactly on what it is that I'm going to do, like from a work perspective.
Curious, what have been the last 2 weeks like at Wimbledon, both in terms of preparing for your final event, but also obviously with the injury, we're recovering from that?
Well, I feel much better than I did at Wimbledon, obviously. I was, I don't know, what was 10, 12 days after I had the operation. I didn't feel great, obviously, in the build up to Wimbledon and during it. I feel better here. I took some days off after I finished at Wimbledon. I actually trained and rehabbed like unbelievably hard, and the time that I had before Wimbledon to give myself a chance to compete and get ready there. Took a bit of time off, and then I went over to Greece. I was there for 1 week. I trained in the mornings there for a few hours. Brought one of the young Scottish juniors, came, and I trained with him in the mornings there, and had a break holiday with the family in the afternoons. And then we got here on Monday morning, so just been obviously training here. So
Andy, you said at Wimbledon that you weren't sure if you would play singles here. Are you in shape to play singles?
I don't think so. I need to make that decision this evening. But I don't think so. Obviously, me and Dan have made the commitment to each other that was what we were going to prioritise. I think Dan is still going to play singles, but we've, obviously last week he, did a lot of doubles practice. That's what I was predominantly practicing and training when I was in Greece, and since we've been here, we've, been practicing and playing doubles sets together. That gives, the team and us the best opportunity to get a medal. That's realistically, my back is still not perfect, and the potential of playing like 2 matches in a day is maybe not the best.
How do you feel about that? And like, is that frustrating, disappointing, is all over it? What's that little variety emotion? Nothing else.
Well, in some ways, the last few months have been, really frustrating after what happened in Miami with my ankle, and then what's happened with my back. Like, it is extremely frustrating, but I also was told when I had the scan on my back after Queen's that I wouldn't play at Wimbledon, and I wouldn't play at the Olympics either. And, I got the opportunity to play at Wimbledon, and physically I'm, judging by how we've been doing in our practices, more than capable of, competing and doing very well in the doubles as well. So in some ways you could say that's lucky too. But it's been hard the last few months physically.
Andy, how do you reflect on that Wimbledon farewell? Because obviously you saw the whole centre court presentation, but it was already slightly incongruous almost, because you were meant to be playing the mixed with Emma, then that didn't go to plan as well, obviously. How would you look back on that?
I thought what Wimbledon did was unbelievably nice, and I think again the way that getting to finish playing at Wimbledon on centre court with my brother was unbelievably special, and it's something that we'd never experienced during our careers. And getting to play my last match at Wimbledon with him was really nice. That obviously wasn't how I'd like planned it or thought that exactly that's what was going to happen. But yeah, that's how it ended up, and I'm really happy about that. I'm not frustrated or bitter about it. I'm happy that I got to finish playing at Wimbledon with my brother.
So there wasn't any kind of disappointment, obviously, with Emma pulling out, and we'd all sort of expected to see that as the last game. Was that a bit? Was there a little bit of an anticlimax to that, or ultimately you were happy?
Well, I think obviously just because that was what mentally I was preparing to play more matches there, but when I reflect on that, it was right that I finished playing at Wimbledon with my brother, and I'm really happy that was the end.
That Emma story took a bit of another twist when Newman suggested it was astonishing that she'd withdrawn. Was that misinterpreted, or was there any kind of feeling about the way in which she did it?
No, I think it's always important in situations like this to remember that, look, at that moment, like, everyone is really emotional because it's the end of, me playing at Wimbledon, and for everyone, I'm aware that there's a much bigger world, a much bigger picture out there. But she is, she's my mum, so she obviously cares a lot about me, and has been a huge part of my career as well. So yeah, and what had happened in the 10 days in the build up to that as well, I just had a surgery where I didn't know if I was going to get the opportunity to play. Yes, everyone's emotions are obviously running high during that time of year, but yeah, my mum's obviously always going to support me and look out for my best interests, and yeah, she's been the best supporter.
From the professional athlete perspective, Andy, and you've been at the very pinnacle, do you also understand the decision of an athlete to think, I need to preserve myself for the singles? I need to put that first. You get that?
Look, everyone is going to look out for their best interests and what it is that they do, and I understand that, and I don't have an issue with that.
Have you spoken to Emma? Obviously, she got quite a lot of criticism publicly.
No, I haven't. I haven't spoken to her since we chatted on the phone. Yeah, when she told me she wasn't going to play, we've not spoken.
When you do retire, are you going to play tennis again? Are you going to train?
I don't see myself playing like any of the invitational things or those sort of events. I don't think so. I would expect that I would still hit some balls and stuff. I still enjoy playing tennis. I love being out there on the court, but I don't. When I play sport, like, I like to compete. I want to be competitive. I don't want to just have a hit and a giggle. I've always liked, playing and competing, whether that's whatever in cards or golf or whatever. So yeah, the stuff where it's sort of like messing around on the court, I don't see myself doing that. But I would expect to still hit balls there.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Do you have a roommate in the village?
We're staying in an apartment with all the tennis players.
In the village?
In the village, yeah. Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
And if I don't speak to you, thanks for your advice and cheers.
Appreciate
If I don't get a chance to speak to you, so thank you. Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
So when I injured my hip, I played my handicap six. This was 5 or 6 years ago. So I needed to use handicap.